evening. I'm Norman Robinson, and welcome to Affordable Housing Matters. We have entered 2026, and a new year means new policies, new leadership, and new possibilities. On this show, we will discuss new housing changes with a newly appointed executive director of the Housing Authority of New Orleans. We have a great show planned for you, so don't go far.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you just did that. Look at that. It's so sad. It's good. Here, put that over.
The Housing Authority of New Orleans' mission is to provide affordable housing opportunities for low-income residents of the city of New Orleans. And joining me now to discuss the sustainability this organization provides in our region is the new executive director of the Housing Authority of New Orleans, Ms. Marjorianna Willman.
Hello.
Hello, and Happy New Year, and welcome to Affordable Housing Matters.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you. Let's get our viewers up to date on what is the Housing Authority of New Orleans.
Sure. So I am in year one. I started at the Housing Authority of New Orleans January, the same time last year. So I am coming up on year one. And a lot of times people think that HANO, which is short for Housing Authority of New Orleans, is all about and only about vouchers.
Right.
So we do so much more. We have several core lines of business. We do development and modernizations, vouchers, of course, but we also have homeownership opportunities, self-sufficiency programs, supportive services for our elderly and disabled households. So we're doing a lot. And even when you think about that, I like to think about housing. Housing is like one core item, but everything touches housing. It is so important that people have safe, decent, affordable housing, that it impacts every area of their life. So what we do is extremely important. I tell my employees all the time, my colleagues, coworkers, hey, we're not making widgets here. We're touching lives every day.
No question about it. And something that you mentioned about home ownership really caught my attention, because most people don't think of the Housing Authority of New Orleans as a place where home ownership is discussed. How does that work?
And thank you so much for asking, because I want people to understand that there's opportunity out there. And home ownership is so important because it is known to be, and we know it to be, the first step to generating wealth in your family. So for those that are voucher holders, like Section 8 Housing Choice voucher holders, you can convert that voucher to home ownership. So instead of renting, you could take that same voucher and use it to apply for a mortgage. We have lenders, approved lenders that we work with. We have employees that help tenants to get their credit right, become self-sufficient, save the money that they need to save to become a homeowner. So we walk them through that entire process. They are not alone. And I want to tell anybody that is even contemplating the process, don't be afraid. I think a lot of people are afraid because they may get a no.
Yeah.
They may get a rejection. But you have to start somewhere. So if you start today, you're further ahead than you were yesterday. So it's never too late to address those issues or any barriers that are keeping you from becoming a homeowner. And we have a staff to do that. So you can become a homeowner at any stage. So it can be even if you're new or you've already had your voucher for some time, if you're head of household, or even if you're a senior citizen. Even senior citizens, we can help them as well to become homeowners. And let me tell you,
there's no age limit?
No age limit. And let me tell you the really good part about the home ownership program is if you have that housing choice voucher, when your mortgage goes up, which we know sometimes some of those costs go up, like insurance.
Very definitely.
Yeah, we're seeing that. So where a non-voucher holder mortgagees, they have to come up with that difference. But if you have a voucher, the voucher can be raised to help with that difference. So you're not just stuck. And even that is the same for senior citizens. So we help them as well. We know most senior citizens have fixed incomes. Well, in cases where your taxes go up, your insurance go up, we can come in and help there. So it's just a great opportunity. We will have a special program on the 29th. You could call our main office where we are really relaunching the program.
Oh, really?
We want to make sure more people know
You're
about
relaunching the program.
our homeownership program.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, it's a successful program, but we want to make it accessible to more people. There are just simply not enough people subscribing to the program.
Really?
So we're going to relaunch it on the 29th of this month at our New Orleans East location, which is at Executive Plaza, 1001 Lake Forest Avenue. We're having a big to-do about it, and we'll be providing a meal. We'll have lender representatives on site, and we just want people to know what's good about the program. And I'm going to tell you another thing why this is so important to us. We want people to become homeowners, but it's also important because it opens us up to bring in more tenants, more voucher holders who can come in and be renters, and we can move them through the process. So
now, at one time, there was a waiting list for vouchers.
Yes.
So what's the status on that now?
There is still a waiting list.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest and frank with you about that. But we still have to start somewhere with moving people through the process.
Okay.
There is a waiting list. I think there's about 8,000 people on the list.
Wow.
Yeah, it is
a lot of people.
A lot of people. But we do have some turnover, and as we have turnover, we move to our wait list.
So how does one gain access to the programs being offered by the Housing Authority of New Orleans?
Yes, so as far as the homeownership program, that is limited to people that currently have a housing choice voucher.
Okay.
So if you have a housing choice voucher, you have access, and you can come in and you can apply for the homeownership opportunities. But I want to say this, that HANO, and if I could just step back a little bit, tell you a little bit about my background.
By all means, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I started off working with the city over the Office of Community Development. So I have a community development based background. Then I went on to head the Louisiana Housing Corporation. So that also is community based and touching all parts of housing. So here at HANO, I have brought that same philosophy into HANO as leader of HANO, touching all parts of housing. So you will see that everywhere that HANO can make a difference, we're out there in the forefront.
Now you had to come in, as I understand it, you had to come in and fix some things that were in disrepair.
Yes.
That's why you're full bore on this
Yes.
this relaunching
Yes.
of HANO.
Yes. So yes, absolutely. So I think that the approach is totally different than the way it was before. So my approach has been to open up the agency to a community-based agency where everyone has access, not just to HANO, but to me too. I want to be out in the community. I have always, throughout my career, have been accessible to people. Anybody who follow us on social media, they will see me stopping at places that are HANO owned, where there are issues, and I will talk about what the issues are and how we're addressing them right there on the spot. So I want HANO to be accessible to everyone, but also to make it where we can help all type of situations. So let me give you an example about that.
Okay.
We just started a foundation. Our foundation started this month. And the foundation accepts donations for housing related matters. And the reason why this is important, because right now, most of our funding, or I should say all of our funding, comes from HUD, the federal government. Well, that's a lot of dependence.
Yeah, I was hoping we would get to that topic.
Yes, and I don't want to get ahead of you, but that's a lot of dependence. And I believe for HANO to be successful, and the citizens to be successful, we should be generating revenue from lots of different places. Anybody who invests money will tell you to diversify. So that's
Yes.
what we're doing, is diversifying. And it allows us the latitude to be able to help in different situations where if we were dependent only on HUD funding, we might not be able to help.
I wanted to ask you how critical things are as it relates to funding, since the present administration in Washington has been exercising a lot of funding cuts. What is your challenge there?
Yes, so it's very scary. Knock on wood, we have not had any limits or reductions at this point, but it's a possibility. And so we're looking ahead, and one way we're looking ahead is to find ways to generate our own revenue. One of those ways is development, self-development, self-management. In the past, previous executive directors at HANO outsourced a lot of work. And two issues I have with that. One issue is we have a whole population of people that need jobs. So
Exactly.
these are people that we can hire. They could do the work in-house. And it's also a lot of times more cost effective, and you have more control over the outcomes when you're doing it internally. So we're beginning to do work internally, managing our own sites, developing. We have 200 lots. So we are working on a master plan for those vacant lots so we can bring them back into commerce. HANO was spending thousands of dollars maintaining the lots, cutting the grass, but not getting any benefit outside of just saying we owned them. So we want to get those lots back into commerce, whether it's...
So when you say back into commerce, you mean developed?
Develop them. We can build houses on them, either rental, home ownership. Lots of times people are interested in home ownership, but they also say, well, we can't find anything in our price range. Well, this is an opportunity for HANO to leverage its resources with the resources in the private market and also with city resources, because the city has down payment assistance programs.
Interesting that you're bringing this new vision to HANO, because most people traditionally thought of HANO as an organization that was in place to primarily assist the low-income people, and that's basically what you did.
Yes.
You know, provide housing for low-income people. But you're telling me that you have a myriad of resources and programs designed for the entire community.
Absolutely, and why not? And it's all related. And this is the thing. If you may not have an issue with affordable housing as far as owning your home or you and I, but guess what? We have neighbors, we have people in the community that are struggling. And when those people aren't struggling, the community, the neighborhood is better.
Sure.
These are people that are investing in the neighborhood, they care about the neighborhood, they're supporting the neighborhood, they make better neighbors. So it's very important. Also, those that own businesses, I'm sure if their employees are not struggling, they're more dialed into the work that they do, and they have better employees, it's a better business, a better employer. So it's good all the way around. It's a win-win for everybody. So there's opportunity for everyone to get involved. If you are a person who wants to contribute to HANO through the foundation and help your coworkers, that foundation gives us the latitude to be able to do that, for someone to direct resources exactly to the population they want to help.
What strategies do you have in place to knock down that waiting list? Or is that something that's within your control?
Well, it's difficult. Our strategy is to bring more partners to the table. To develop more housing, and also to provide job opportunities. So we're also working on job opportunities. I mentioned self-sufficiency. So if we can get people to become self-sufficient where they need fewer resources or no resources, that's even better. I don't know anybody who's given the opportunity to make a good, decent living wage would say, oh, I don't want that, I'd rather just keep my voucher. That there are people who think that, but it's a big misconception. People are looking for opportunity. I think if opportunity is there, they'll seize it.
Now, there was a recent controversy as it relates to the Musicians Village with Habitat for Humanity selling it to a private owner who has been criticized for increasing the rent or the mortgage for many of the tenants who have been there for quite some time. Now, to what extent are you all involved in trying to come up with some kind of resolution for the tenants there?
Absolutely. So, and that's one of those issues right there as well that's housing related, but not necessarily all the way in HANO's area. But because it's housing and because of my background, I couldn't help but to speak on it. So there are a few tenants that are recipients of housing choice vouchers, Section 8 vouchers, and we're able to increase their voucher to make sure that their rent is paid. For the remaining tenants, our foundation is working to raise resources and money to pay that difference for their rent. So, and we're making progress there. I have spoken with the owner, and he has told me that he would allow for a year for those tenants to come up to a point where they can pay their rent. Now, what we're trying to do is generate resources for that year to cover that gap, so that those tenants will, those 5 remaining tenants will be comfortable. They don't have to worry. And then we also have a product on the flip side of that where it's called project-based vouchers, where that homeowner can receive project-based vouchers for those tenants that will pay their rent after he gets those units where they need to be. So there is some work that needs to be done on the units to make them at a standard where we can pay that project-based voucher. But once they come up to that standard, I do believe those units will be able to qualify for project-based vouchers, and then the issue will be resolved. So it's a 2-part resolution, and it's not easy. But I do think that there is a way to move forward and help those tenants.
So what do you think the challenge is for affordable housing going forward?
I think that, well, and I'll just step back to the Musicians Village. I think one of the challenges is all of the partners coming to the table. I think one of the mistakes or issues there was before that transfer occurred, that sale, it would have been great for HANO to know. It would have been great for the city to know. There may have been resources where we could have purchased those houses. From my understanding, that was sold at a very low rate. I understand that there's work that needs to be done, but I want to say well below market rate. I want to say, I think I was told $50,000, $60,000. It would have been, yes, it would have been great had the partners, other partners, been given the opportunity to acquire these houses and then come up with some plan to keep those tenants there. So I would say that one of the challenges going forward, and I'm hopeful with the new administration we'll be able to get past this.
That was the question I wanted to ask you as we close. How optimistic are you that the vision that you see can be broadened or accomplished with the new administration?
I'm very optimistic. So I have met, and I've worked with Jeff Swartz, is the director of the Office of Community Development. I worked with him when I was with the city, and I've worked with him for years. I met Dr. Mays yesterday, and hey, from what I could see, she's all in. They're all in. We're all in. So I think that it's going to be positive. I'm going to do everything I can. You know, I always say, if I can't make it better, I don't want to play. If I came to New Orleans to make a difference. I call it home. It's my home, and I love it here, and I want to be able to make an impact, a difference, and I have a great team to help me do that. So I'm extremely optimistic, and we're looking at things differently. You know, and so I am all in. I'm optimistic, and I expect success.
Now, I've heard it said when when a new person comes to New Orleans, that they're kind of looked down on.
A transplant or
and they kind of have a competition with the bees. The bees are the be here when you got here, be here when you're gone. And so how have you managed to maneuver that mentality, maneuver around the mentality of we've been here and this is the way we've always done it?
Yes, yes. And so listen, I get that. And so I would say that one way that I am moving is to bring people to the table. So I know I have not been here for everything. I've been in housing for a very long time. So even when I told you that I left Louisiana Housing Corporation, I didn't tell you that I spent 20 years there before I came to the city, and then they asked me to come back. I went there, and now I'm in HANO. But I've been working on housing issues in New Orleans for over 20 years. But I've heard of that dirty T word, transplant.
Yeah.
But it just speaks to the beauty of New Orleans that people want to be here. That's all I can say. But look, I listen to everybody, and I think one way is for me to understand that there are people who know more than I do on the culture, the community, and it's very important that I listen to them.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here, and you've left us with a sense of optimism.
Good. That's good.
We here at Affordable Housing Matters always like to maintain some sense of optimism about help being on the way for people who are looking for affordable housing. So good luck to you in your position as Executive Director for Housing Authority of New Orleans.
Thank you.
And you're always welcome here.
Thank you, my friend. Good to be here.
You're welcome. We will return with more Affordable Housing Matters right after this break. Don't go far. You're welcome. Yeah.
Got a new house.
I think I finally found a place that I call home.
Robert Clifton Weaver was born December 20th, 1907 in Washington, D.C. Weaver received his BA and PhD in economics from Harvard University. During the New Deal era, Robert received or served as an advisory on a number of federal agencies, becoming an active participant in efforts to improve race relations throughout the mid-1940s. In the late 1950s, Robert was New York State's rent commissioner, following that up with becoming the vice chairman of the New York City Housing Redevelopment Board. Impressed by his work in housing, President-elect John F. Kennedy would ask Weaver to serve as the administrator of the Housing and Home Finance Agency, also known as HHFA. There, Robert would go on to author the 1961 Compilation Housing Bill and lobby for the 1962 Senior Citizens Housing Act. Robert C. Weaver would continue to work hard to improve housing for low-income families under the Lyndon B. Johnson administration. In September 1965, the Department of Housing and Urban Development was created. Weaver, being its first secretary the following January, ultimately became the first African-American appointed to a cabinet position. As the Secretary of HUD, Weaver would go on to continue his legacy of providing opportunities for home ownership among the poor and poverty-stricken in our country. Dr. Robert C. Weaver died in New York City on July 17, 1997, leaving an indelible impact on the Department of Housing and Urban Development and other housing programs across the nation. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our show for this evening. I'm Norman Robinson, and we will see you next time right here on Affordable Housing Matters.